Hi, welcome back to our second podcast.
It's
Can't
then
believe it.
and now.
Everything's still working.
Yay!
All right. I thought today we might want to talk about how getting older is not the end of the story. I
Absolutely.
mean, life keeps going and we still have a purpose, right?
Yes, we
You
do.
don't age out of a purpose.
Oh no, it's the main purpose is to wake up the next morning.
Main purpose is to have a purpose.
That's right. Is to be sure you have a purpose the
That's
next
right.
morning. Yeah.
That's right. So, yeah. So, you have a funny story about that, don't you?
Yeah, I want to talk about my dad. He was so funny. When, like I said, my mom, as I said, died when she was 67. There were 7 years difference in their age. So my dad was what, 74 when she
Yeah,
passed.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And he did love my mom, and they nothing was going on through any of this. Then the story's going to make it sound, you're going to go, sure, Connie. But anyway, so shortly, unfortunately, my dad could never. He was so used to having someone around.
But that's a man.
It is a man. Men have. I'm very sorry, any men out there that are talking. Please, I'm sure there's one or two out there, but men are so used to having, especially if they've been married for years, to have a wife, somebody that's taking care of them, somebody that handles everything.
Well, it all started with mom. You had a mom that
You
did all that
had
for
a mom
you.
that did that
Then you
ran
had
the
a wife.
household
Yeah.
and did that, and then yes, right, and then you had. So at that age, losing your wife at that age was really tough on my dad. And even though he was a very professional businessman, I remember even the first times that the first few months or when she had passed, that I had to go to the bank with him because we were fixing, her Social Security was stopping because they immediately stopped that. They froze the bank account. And making those calls for him and doing miscellaneous stuff, right? And so Dad decided, I guess don't ask me how. The last thing I know is I would check on my father every single day. You've got to remember, when my mom passed, my words to her in our closing statement, or whatever you want to call it, was, "Mom, don't worry.
Aww.
I have it all under control. I am going to take such good care of Dad. I'm going to call my siblings every day.
Wow.
I'm going to make sure everybody's taken care of." That's a big promise to make.
It's a big promise.
And I had no idea just how big it was. And the guilt of trying to fulfill that was really difficult. But Dad, I'm a trooper. So I went over to check on him one day, and he wasn't home. And I remember walking around his house, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, the next door neighbor we had was a single older lady. Probably about my mom, maybe younger, a little younger than my mom. And it wasn't but just a few months after Dad had passed. And
when your mom passed.
When my mom passed, that he got involved with this lady. And the funniest thing, I do have to say one funny story, his first date with this lady. This is how I found out that he was dating the lady next door. I was on a trip. I came home, went over to my dad's immediately to check on him, and he looks really pale and he's having a really hard time. And
breathing?
Yes.
Or what?
Yeah, breathing. And I said, "Dad, what?" He says, "Well, I think you're going to need to take me to the VA hospital." He said, "I've got something stuck in my throat." So that's not funny. But I was like, "Dad, oh my gosh." So we get him to the VA hospital, and he thinks he's going to die. The lines are so long there, and the wait's so bad. Well, I'm to the rescue. So they decided that they were going to have to do a dye test or something on him. So anyway, we're like, we just can't figure out, what, and he can't even keep the dye down. It's so bad.
Goodness.
So I'm calling my brother and sister, and my brother runs up there, and my son's up there, and they finally get Dad back, and it's not funny, but it is funny. And we're sitting back there, and we hear him say, "Well, yes, in room 2 or 3, that's the man with the piece of chicken hung in his throat." And I'm like, are they talking about Dad?
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
come to find out what happened on his first date. He had taken Levine, or shouldn't say her name. Anyway, he had taken this lady to dinner, and he had ordered chicken. And the chicken had got lodged in his throat.
Oh my gosh.
So he had to abruptly take her home, and then couldn't hardly breathe to explain. So he went there, and so
This has been hours that this has been stuck in his throat.
yes, and he can't even keep water down. He can keep nothing down. It is
Holy-
stuck.
I never heard of
He
such
had
a
a
thing.
Heineken, or what? Not a
A
Heineken.
Probably wanted a Heineken.
Yeah, he probably needed a Heineken. We all needed a Heineken after that happened. Anyway, it's like, oh my gosh. And then he says, because then he's wanting me to go next door when we get him home. He said, would you please go next door and tell this lady, what had happened?
Oh, okay.
Because he was very embarrassed.
Okay.
And
You
I'm
had to end the
thinking,
date like that.
yes,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, it's like 4 months after my mom died, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, shame
Yeah,
on you.
Yeah, that's not a.
And then come to find out, he actually ended up marrying this lady like 6 months after my mom passed.
Oh man, that's hard for you though.
That was
wasn't
a
it?
hard
Yeah.
reunion to have to take. But I'm thinking, okay, he needs,
Yeah.
but he needs somebody.
Yeah.
It didn't last but about probably 5 or 6 months, because then,
Really?
because then he realized that she wasn't going to be the nurturer
that he was
that
looking
my
for.
mom had been. She
Mm.
was actually a little more, far more independent,
Yeah.
and she was really depending on him to do all this stuff around her house and mow and do everything.
So they each had ulterior motives.
They both, I would say, had
She wanted a handyman, and he
motives.
wanted a
So,
nurturer.
Yeah. So then Dad, I had seen online after that, was and everybody's probably remember, Love at AOL. Well, I'd seen the thing on TV about senior citizens in Florida were online. This is when the computer and the internet just started
Right,
up.
early 2000s.
Yes,
or-
and
yeah.
they were dating. They were talking to each other and
okay.
everything.
Like chat rooms or
No,
chat,
just
oh.
Love. They had a website. It was love at AOL.com.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so Dad was on Thanksgiving, and my dad was over to my house. And first I really wanted him to find somebody and to be happy. So
Yeah.
I told him about it, and he didn't really seem too interested. Well, then, being the doting daughter I was, I started emailing these ladies.
Oh.
My father,
Oh, honey.
you just really whatever.
Uh-huh.
So then again, I traveled a lot then. I was back in town, and Dad asked me, he said, Connie, are you busy? Could you come over here for a minute and take a picture of it? I want you to take a picture for me. And I'm thinking, what? And I said, okay, Dad, I'll be over in a little bit. So I went, and he was dressed up, went outside and took a nice picture. And I said, well, Dad, what do you need this picture for? And come to find out, he got wise, and he got on Love at AOL.
Oh no.
And he would carry on these conversations with these women. Now, to keep it straight, he would actually had a file. So he could track who he was talking to, what they talked about. He would print it out so he could, your mind's not really working really great, and you're almost 80.
How many do you think he was talking
Well, he
to at
didn't
a
do
time?
very many, because he was so funny. The first time I got so tickled, again traveling, I called the house and he didn't answer. And I called my son. I said, do you know where your peepaw is? And Michael said, yeah, I think he's on a date. I said, on a date? I said, are you kidding me? And he said, no, some lady he met online.
Oh.
I said, he met a lady online? It's a date? Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
So then finally I get a hold of my dad, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? What are you on a date? I haven't even talked to you about that yet. We haven't
had the talk.
We haven't had the talk. You can't be on a date. He goes, oh yes. Here, we're sitting on the back porch. Here, you want to talk to her?
Oh my!
Like, what do I have to say to this woman?
Random woman.
On this random woman.
Oh my God!
And I said, well, what are you doing? He says, well, and so anyway, he'd take these women out on a date or meet them, and I guess he was interviewing them, obviously, because then when he get home, he said, he was doing something. I said, well, what are you? He said, oh, I'm writing a letter. This lady wasn't my type. And I said, you're writing a letter? He said, yes, if I go and that traction isn't there, we don't
Uh-huh.
have anything in common. Or he had a couple that were used their glamour shots, or
Oh no.
or were older, didn't look quite like they had anticipated.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he was like, he said he sends them a letter, and I said, Dad,
Through the mail.
through the mail,
Oh
right,
my
handwritten.
goodness.
I called it his Dear Fred letter.
Oh, I love it.
And I said, Dad, you do not write a letter when you do that. You don't need to write a letter.
Oh my
I
goodness.
said, God only knows if there was a letter etiquette, I would know, because I would have a whole mailbox full, probably.
Connie.
Well, anyway, so a little later, then he asks again, calls and wants to know if I'm going to be busy on a Tuesday or whatever. And I said, I'm fine. He says, well, can you take me to the hospital? I said, the hospital?
Oh dear.
My heart's pounding. Yeah. I said, what's wrong? What are you going to have done? He says, I'm having a facelift.
Oh, good Lord.
And I said, Dad, you're having a facelift? And he said yes. So we took.
And how much time is this? This is a couple of years has gone by, right?
Yeah, about 2 years. He was probably.
So now he's in his upper 70s.
No, later 70s.
Oh, later 70s.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably
well, that is the upper
79.
70s.
Oh, well, you go upper, I go lower. I don't know. I just know that this aged man is going in for a facelift, okay?
Oh,
and then I remember we're sitting there, and things didn't really bother my dad too much. And of course, I'm just hovering over him. Dad goes, and they said, because every time the blood pressure thing would go off or whatever, I'd run and get somebody or whatever, and they said, finally they came in, they said, no, you don't have to come get us, it's fine if it's a long line of thing or whatever, it's a long, pretty much, if it's a long flat line, then there's a problem.
Yeah, right, you can come
so we're sitting there, and they leave, and all of a sudden there's this long flat line comes across, and Mike and I were all just going, oh my God, go get the long. They said, oh, I forgot to tell you, sometimes it'll cut off.
Oh.
And we're thinking, and we got home and we were telling my dad the story. My dad says, well, I heard what she said, and I heard that long flat line. He said, I just kind of looked up to the sky and thought,
looking for the light.
Yes. He said, and I thought, so this is what it's like.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Oh,
so anyway, at that age, he ended up
with a facelift.
With a facelift. He looked great.
Did he look great?
He did. Actually, he did. He really did. I've never seen in my life anybody so proud of a facelift in my life. I remember picking him up and having to take him back in for his follow-up, and he was so excited because he still had these things that hang out of your face,
oh my
full of
gosh,
yucky stuff.
Ew.
And I had to go park the car, and I was going to drop him off, but he couldn't wait. He was so excited. I remember he jumped out of the car by himself with those things flopping to get in there to the doctor to take off the bandages.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, so life can hold all different things as we get old. His life certainly didn't stop.
Right. And so did he keep dating, or what?
He did meet someone online.
Okay.
They were together about, I guess, probably 8 years or so. And then Dad got sick and passed.
Okay.
And he was really happy.
Oh,
he was so busy. I mean, he worked until he was about 83.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
She was a lot younger. She was a lot younger than he was. She was probably about 10 or 12 years younger, if not more.
Yeah.
And but they did everything. He bowled, he played golf.
Oh.
He was totally active until he had he had to have bypass surgery.
Yeah.
And that really kind of stopped him in his tracks. And after that, he really wasn't quite.
Yeah.
He never really came back. Came back from that.
Which you're.
But he lived a really even after Mom, he found a way to cope, and he found a way that
he
worked,
reinvented
that worked
himself,
for him. Yeah, it was hard on me because I was supposed to be the protector, know. So I did buy the house across the alley that lady wasn't too fond about.
Well, and you're also loyal to your mom, I'm sure.
I was
and her
loyal
memory.
to my mom,
So that's got to be tough.
It was really tough.
Even though that's it's a thing to do. It's okay. Yeah.
So
I love that story though. That's funny.
It is funny. It was actually. I mean, we had to laugh even right at the times when it was happening.
Yeah.
It was just so bizarre.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, let's answer a couple questions, and I think that was a great topic to to touch on today. So I have a couple questions here, and let me put my glasses on so I can see the questions. So the best thing about being this age is
Tell it like it is,
okay,
and don't you
which
don't
you
care
do.
as
I have
much.
noticed that
I'm
more of you
back.
since we reconciled
Yeah,
after. Not that there was a reason we weren't together, but life just took us apart there
right, right.
for a few years. But after we've gotten back together again, I don't remember you being so
Angry.
outspoken and
No,
everything,
I like to no, just tell it. I'd
and not in a
rather.
bad way. I mean, you're
Well, it's
just
like somebody once told me. They said, Connie, though, they go, you really appreciate your honesty, but you could really need to probably work on your
a
presentation. I
presentation.
said,
Yeah,
yes, I've been told that before.
that's great.
But I'd rather, you
Don't
find,
waste time. I
well,
mean,
and you
yeah,
find that sometimes when you're older and you see people doing stupid stuff,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
need to bring it
yeah.
to their
Nip in the bud there.
attention. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah, for sure. I believe for me, I think it's freedom as well.
Yeah.
There's just so many things I don't doesn't bother me anymore. So it's just a freedom to be myself. Which is really the next question is what I refuse to apologize for anymore. And for me, I'm not going to apologize for being me anymore.
That's well,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. It's just so many things.
Life's too short to
Life's
keep
just too
things
short. Oh
inside.
my goodness.
Tell it like
Especially
it is.
little stuff.
Yeah, just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
If somebody's not going to accept it, then they don't
Yeah,
accept it.
exactly.
Don't let
Yeah,
it bother you.
I agree. And then what I'm still excited about.
Waking up tomorrow.
Oh. Seriously though, what do you think? What are the next?
To see what's going to happen. And
Yeah,
the world is in such chaos right now.
yeah, that's for
It's
sure.
that it is scary,
Hmm.
but yet we've been in chaos before,
Yep,
and we've managed
yep,
to work our way through
yeah,
it, and we'll be in chaos again.
yep,
But just I'm looking forward to seeing what the next chapter's gonna,
yeah,
what the next chapter's gonna be
yeah.
like. Where am I gonna be
I
where am I
know.
gonna be next year?
Yeah, that's
Am I gonna
right.
be working? Am I gonna
Yeah,
be on a cruise?
right.
Am I
Exactly.
gonna have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
You
No.
know?
Yeah. Besides the AI guy, or
Well,
the
that's
the Chat GPT.
yeah, my Chat GPT guy. Yeah,
You go to him for everything.
yeah.
Yeah. For me, I guess I think kind of long term a little bit that I look forward to maybe someday when I don't want to work anymore but I had the means to do the traveling that I've wanted to do or the luxury of getting up and just relaxing a little bit and
Right.
doing my walk or run or workout or what I want to do without time
Not always
constraints.
be in a rush.
Right, not always be
Yeah.
in a rush. Let's hurry and get this done so I can,
Move on to the
yeah,
next
move on
thing.
to the next thing.
Yeah.
But just being in the moment,
Relaxed.
enjoying that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, good. All right. Well,
Okay.
we have a lot more to talk about
We have
next
lots
time.
more.
I don't know
Lots
what.
more. I don't know my English. We have a lot more to talk
Yeah,
about.
we don't know what subject it'll be yet, but
I'm pushing for marriage and dating because Vicky's got a great story about her marriage that she met her guy that she her I guess first real love when she was 16. They lost contact for 50 years. Met online
yeah,
and now married.
yeah. All
So it's
right.
a wonderful.
That's what you want to go there.
It's a great love
You want to
story.
go there.
I want to go there,
Okay.
and I want to go.
And you were a part of it.
And I want to go deep into that.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how everything's working out.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Great. Well, that was fun.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
see you next time.
Thank you.